So you want to increase the critical thinking skills of your students. How do you do it? One way that you might try is case studies. What is a case study? Well, a case study is a story that guides your students through a scenario that teaches a point and has one main theme. So what are the attributes of a good case study? Well, number one, it has to be relevant to your students. They have to see themselves in that story and see how to apply what's happening in their own lives. Secondly, it provokes conflict. There's some challenge, some antagonistic thing that's happening that's going to cause your students to think and try to figure out what the next step should be. And third, and maybe most importantly, it tells a story. This is a chance for you as the teacher to write a story to tell your students about the content you want them to teach. And in that story, the fourth point is that a case creates empathy with the main characters of your story. Again, your students, the readers, can picture themselves going through the situation that you have in that particular case study. Those are the attributes of a good case study that will get your students engaged and get them thinking about the particular problem. When using a case, it's a very specific teaching tool that helps you guide your students. But the big question is, where do you find these case studies? Well, there's a couple of things that you can do. Number one, you can write your own. If you always were a frustrated novel writer, this is your opportunity to get that creative juices out. The other thing you can do is find them on the internet. There are thousands of case studies out there. You can go to those on the internet, find them, modify them for your own situations, or maybe they're already there ready for you to use as is. Once you have found the correct case study that you want to use, there's a couple of ways you can actually use it in your classroom. Number one, you can have your students individually read that case study and create a written response to it. They can work in groups, or you can actually have your students do a role play where certain students are the actors of the case. They play out the story in front of the rest of the class and pause from time to time for the students to ask questions and for you to guide the discussion. And discussion is a very important part of the case study. You as the teacher need to guide the students through that discussion during and after the case study to help them identify what is the main problem that's happening here. What are some possible solutions or conclusions that could be drawn from the case? And finally, what are the recommendations that the students have for the antagonistic of the story to have? Now, tell your students there's not one right answer here. There's a lot of things that could possibly happen, and the most important aspect is the students to be able to defend their recommendation with evidence from the case. I think you're going to find case studies as an exciting and impactful way to increase the critical thinking and the teaching for your students. For more information, visit our website.